So, if you were watching the podcast last week, then you know that we've been talking about metadata. You know, this data about data, right? Information about usually media. When we're talking about it, when it's talked about in general, metadata is referring to images, blog posts, this, that, and the other. You know, files, for example. Media graphics. It's this whole composite of things that have metadata about them. Generally, if it's this online information, virtual, digital stuff, the digital content has metadata. And an incredibly important part, which a lot of social media is really trying to push right now, is geotagging. So today in this episode of the BB&J podcast, I'm going to be talking about, I think you can guess, geotagging. I'm your host, John Lint. Let's get into it. So to start off with, to kick us off, what is geotagging? What does it have to do with metadata? You know? It's an important thing to know because if you're going to be doing this to begin with, you kind of need to know the fundamentals. So, geotagging is information, data assigned to a little piece of media that provides information about where this was made. So, if it's an image, then we're talking about, where was the image, or like a photo, for example. Okay, well, where was the photo shot? If we're talking more than anything, like geotagging is a way for social media, for search engines, for people to find the locational, geographic context of the content, right? It says this article was written here. It says this image was, this photo was taken here. This information is turned around and used to deliver to the audience in that area, right? So it's important to know that this geotagging is, context. Geotagging is context. Metadata in general is context. But geotagging especially provides invaluable context for search engines. So, we kind of talk about SEO, we kind of talk about the principle, but how is geotagging used, right? How are we using geotagging? And how are our social media and platforms using geotagging? Well, let's look at some real-life comparisons, right? How is geotagging used? If you see in actual how is geotagging used in actual marketing? To the analog version of geotagging, right? If you have a billboard that provides a geotag, that includes usually some sort of geotag for the thing that it's advertising, right? If you have a billboard for a restaurant, it's going to say where it is. If it's next exit, it's going to say next exit. It's a little geotag on your media. If it's going to say, give some basic instructions of how to get there, how far away it is. All those things are physical analog examples of geotagging, analog versions of geotagging. So you have a situation where, that location provided on a normal billboard or a magazine, a newspaper ad, traditional marketing, that is context. That is locational geographic context. Geotagging is the digitized equivalent. Geotagging takes what traditional forms of marketing do and does, whereas providing, hey, we're on this exit. Hey, we're here. Hey, we're, just take Main Street onto 5th and there you go. Of how to get there, right? How to find you. And it does the same on the digital space, but it does it even greater, right? With the we're talking about like the digital space, you can do so much more that you couldn't necessarily do in traditional in-person marketing, media, outreach, this, that, and the other. So it's like to a social media platform, I'm saying, hey, check out BB Digital Lab. You can find us in Heron, and we consistently put that stuff out there. And so if people in our area are looking for marketing or looking for web design, there's this content that is like, okay, they're looking for marketing. They're in Heron. Well, there's a marketing agency that tags its stuff in Heron. So this content, why don't I deliver it? Because this seems like something that they would benefit from, right? So when you have this, when you add geotags to your content, the use of it is saying people are in this area, people are interested in this area, people are looking around this area, and here is some locationally, geographically relevant content. We talk about, I talked about like billboards, for example. There's billboards saying, hey, a billboard for like a fast food place, right? That billboard is saying, hey, I know you're in this area and I know that you're hungry. Well, here is a restaurant close to where you are that can deliver what you're looking for. Geotagging can do the same, and it's really incredible because it doesn't take a ton of stuff. I'll kind of get into the specifics of, what exactly goes into geotagging a little bit later, but, for now, like, understanding, just understanding, like, how important it is to use geotagging is the first step. You need to understand why this matters. That's why I'm recording this podcast. Bridget and I, we've been talking about this. We've been like looking into this and realizing like, oh, this is really something that we need to be doing for both ourselves and our clients. So I'm turning around and I'm saying to you guys, you should be doing this, right? You should be geotagging. But that kind of gets into that question that I talked about a little bit before of how do you get started, right? Geotagging, how do I put this? When you're geotagging, really you need to figure out what the platform allows for and what you can do on that specific platform. So, for example, sometimes with if you're writing a blog, it will allow you to add the location that you guys are based. The location of the blog is being written in. And especially if you do in-person work, that can be valuable because that blog is going to be, once again, better delivered. You're going to get that better SEO. If we're looking at, for example, Facebook. Facebook's the big one, isn't it? Facebook will allow you to tag a location. If you're creating if you're like publishing a video, for instance, that will allow you to include recording location. Same is true for Instagram. Instagram loves it, you know? So, I mean, at the very least, if you're not doing it on Facebook and Instagram, start doing it. It matters. It makes a difference. Another really easy way to kind of incorporate another way around version of geotagging is through things like hashtags. So if you're using your hashtags, make sure you're using geographically specific, geographic-oriented hashtags on top of the traditional, like including the actual address that you're trying to, along with your post, your video, whatever it is. Those geographically linked hashtags will make a difference because people will be looking for those similar hashtags. People in that area will be looking for similar hashtags, and companies and organizations and groups will be using those hashtags in your area. So a great way to get started with geotagging is changing up the hashtags, and whenever you see, can I include location, don't ignore that. Include the location. A lot of these platforms want to help you geotag. They want to help you add this information to your content because it allows for geographic specificity. So if you have questions about geotagging, if you're looking to implement it more directly into files, or you want to figure out how to get started, feel free to reach out. We'd love to help. I know I'd love to help. Bridget would love to help. The rest of our team wants to help you guys do things like this. Spruce up your content, improve in a reliable and scalable and easy to do way your content. So, you can reach out to us. Go to bbdigitallab.com. Leave us a message. You can leave a comment on this video. I read the comments. I do appreciate any feedback that I get when I get it. I always looking forward to interacting with people and seeing how is this useful? Because I produce this content because I think it'd be useful for people, So if you do have more questions about it, please reach out. Let me know what kind of questions you'd like answered. Other than that, that's about all I have for you for this week. Once again, I'd like to thank you so much for listening and or watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, leave a comment, punch that notification bell, all that goodness. And on that note, I'll see you next week.